Hi, everybody. DJ Yoakley here with our South Range Softball Coaches Corner. That means it can only be time for one man and one of my good friends and worst fantasy football players on the planet Earth, Jeff DeRose. How are you, Coach?
Well, fantasy football, you had one good year, so you're bragging. So I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing better than I did this fantasy football year. I can tell you that. But you and I have had a great relationship for a long time, and it no bones about it, man. This stinks. This situation with Corona, the virus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. There's no good situation. It looks like the season's on the brink. How are you handling this with your girls, your coaches, and your family?
Well, the best thing we can do as coaches and role models for the kids is remain positive that there could be something still left with the season. Yesterday, the governor closed school through April. I mean, it was only supposed to be back to school on April the 6th, so he closed it through the rest of the month of April, which, of course, was probably going to have that same impact on the spring sports. But then there's May. So kind of hanging my hat on a short season, hopefully a couple, 3 weeks in May, get at it. And I want to play some ball. I mean, this is very, very difficult to take after. This is my 14th year at South Range, and it's why it's been a lot of fun. And it's because of the kids I keep coming back. I honestly miss them a lot.
And you say it, you do it for the kids. I mean, how tough is it for your team? I mean, what are some of the comments or rumblings you've heard from your girls?
Well, have I heard anything? Has the season been canceled? And there was a seminar, it was a webinar, if you will, a couple of weeks ago from the OHSAA, and they all gave us hope. So, one of the things that they said was, you're allowed to communicate with your team, be positive, be upbeat. And I immediately sent them a nice long text. And I said, hey, this season's not over. There's still some hope. And that was before they even canceled the winter sports. But again, I'm hanging my hat on the fact that we can have a shortened season, which is better than having no season. And it's the problem for me is the fact that we had 3 weeks of very good practice. I mean, the first couple of days weren't very good, but after that, I mean, I told the girls the Friday after our last practice that they've made some tremendous strides, and we were going in the right direction. And this stop is temporary. So I'm still hanging my hat on again. That is temporary, and we're going to get back at it the 1st of May and get that shortened season in and go right into tournament.
Now, this is a situation, obviously, over the last 14 years, you've gone from being a program that's just trying to build and establish itself to you've been a traditional program. And you see that people in Canfield, the Beaver Township area, if they have girls, they're looking for them to be South Range Raiders, and they're looking for them to be softball players. Talk to me about, when you look at this, how you built that program and the impact, especially on kind of the momentum that you've carried over the last decade and a half.
Yeah, I mean, the program, it transpired to what it is today because of the tradition of starting to win. I know my first year that I was there, we won 3 games, which was like, holy cow, this is pretty tough because I was in the youth program. Winning is contagious, and we started getting some better classes in there that actually started. They had a good rec program at the time, and a lot of these girls play travel ball. And over the years, because of the girls play travel ball and their parents' dedication of time and money, that goes a long way, and it's nice for me as a coach because they're very seasoned and well-versed players. So with that said, you got players that can play. They got all the fundamentals. Their travel coaches teach them a lot. And winning, like I said, is contagious. And the younger girls, they want to play for us because it's fun. And hopefully the girls from our team, they say it's fun. It's not. I try to run a program that's serious, but at the same time, you have some fun. So hopefully that trickles down to the younger kids, and I think it does. I have no plans of going anywhere, hopefully, in the next couple of years, unless Coach Farron doesn't want me back. Or I shouldn't say Coach Farron, because I'm his boss on the softball field. He's my boss other than that.
I was just going to ask you. I mean, I talked to Callie Dudich a little bit today, and I asked her, how fun is it to have Coach DeRose and Coach Farron be under the same banner and she says it's so fun because you guys are so competitive. Talk about the relationship you have with Donnie.
Oh, Donnie, I learned a lot from Donnie, and I hope the same that he learned a lot from me. He's a fair coach. He knows a lot of things and that I don't know, and again, vice versa. He is a lot more. I would say he likes to take chances. I'm very conservative, so you've been to many of our games. You'll notice that he's our third base coach by choice. Because he pulls things that I wouldn't. And it's like I said, it's a competition. He's very, very competitive. And when we're at practice, Donnie and I do crazy things. We'll do a home run derby. We'll do who can make the ball into the bucket from like 30 feet away. And, the girls even play with us. So, we try to get that atmosphere to the kids that, yeah, we mean business, but we're at the same time, hopefully fun to be around for the kids.
You've got two seniors this year. Talk about what they've meant to your program and what from a character standpoint on and off the field.
Well, two seniors, Callie Dudich and Emily Protain. Callie's been a member of the varsity program. I believe she made it on the varsity program the latter part of her freshman season. She became a little bit more of an impact player her sophomore season and started full-time as a junior. Very versatile player, could play pretty much any position we asked her to. I often refer to her as, a person that can pretty much play anywhere, including catching. She's not a pitcher, but I honestly feel like I can put Callie anywhere. If the need was the fact that maybe I had a better player in a spot that she was trying to get, and it was for the best interest of the team to move her because she was more versatile in the other position, I would do that. And Callie accepted it with open arms. Emily Protain, she is one of those girls, and she's been with us since she was a freshman as well. She cracked the varsity program last year as a junior, lettered her first year, a very hardworking kid. And she comes back, and she did not start for us last year, but she comes back with a smile. She loves to work, and, she wants to put in the time, and she wanted to earn a starting position this year. So it was time to tell, if we didn't have this layoff because of the coronavirus, Emily would have been put to the test in a number of positions. The funny thing is, both Callie and Emily, their first position is both first base. So of course I couldn't put two players at first base. And the funny thing is they're both seniors. So, one of them would have had to have moved, and probably Emily would have probably moved to the outfield.
So when you look at this, I mean, it seems like every coach has almost a word or a legacy that each season or each senior class leaves behind. These two young girls, is there a word that describes what they leave behind or they will leave behind at the range?
Well, yeah, I mean, only having two seniors is tough. And a lot of times when there's more seniors, there's a different type of legacy. I know that they both wanted to be leaders. Emily's a little bit more quiet than Callie. But, I think that they realize that I mean business when I want my seniors to be leaders. I think hopefully they left an impression on the junior class that will be seniors next year if we don't get back to our season this year. But again, I'm hopeful that we get back, and I want to learn that legacy, if you will, in a shortened season.
Yeah, one of the things that I love most about you is the fact that you're always a glass half full guy. You're hilarious, number one, but you always turn it into a glass half full guy. Could this be a launching point for your team next year? Do you think this could make them hungrier? Obviously, if there is a shortened season, we're hoping for it, we're praying for it. That's great. But do you think you've got a stellar junior and an underclass this could make them really hungry for a lot of wins next year. Is that the way you're looking at it or hoping for it?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at that. Our junior class is very talented. I mean, not very big in number, but they're very talented. The thing that, and I don't want to overlook the sophomore class, but I'm going to go down to the freshman class because there's a bunch of freshmen that play travel ball. And in the 3 weeks of practice, I got to actually see most of them play travel ball. They're very good. So we lost 5 seniors last year from the team, but I think we could have easily replaced them. with the freshmen and the sophomores coming in, and some of the juniors who didn't get a chance to play last year very much. But yeah, I think we recycle some talent pretty good.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you if you're going to miss the collision course that you typically have each and every year with Coach Eskra over at Crestview. You going to miss that?
Yeah, Greg and I met Greg a few years back after he took over for Clarence, and he's done a fantastic job over there. And I tell you what, Greg and I are good friends. And when he asked about going to Myrtle Beach, he consulted with me, and I gave him some pointers. And I felt flattered that he asked me those questions. In fact, I talked to Greg today. We remain in touch all the time,
yeah.
And we do have this friendly rivalry between us.
No.
A little bit, just a little bit. But, the funny thing is, last night I was on your website and I was watching our district championship game last year against Crestview. And I wanted to send him a text today and say, hey, did you see the game last night? And see what his reply was. But he told me after the game last year, he goes, see you next year. So I hoping, maybe if we get there, we play Crestview again. It's always a good game.
Yeah, it always is, and it's fun to see you two go head-to-head because I know you both very well, and you're both very funny, win, lose, or draw, but you're super competitive, which makes it that much better. You've had a daughter that came up through the program. What is it like to coach your daughter, and then now she's in the Hall of Fame?
She is. When Carly was in 6th grade is when I took the program over. It was difficult because when they called me, it was Dan Zolik at the time. He was the athletic director, and their current coach had retired, and I guess they tried to get a coach within, and I was running the youth program at the time. So I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm going to do this, thinking that Carly is going to be up there in a few years. And I thought, how am I going to miss her youth games to coach high school? Long story short, it worked out. When she did come up into the program, I knew what kind of talent that she had. Because she was very competitive in travel ball and she set a bunch of records at South Range. I stepped aside and wanted to be the assistant coach while Carly was there. I just didn't want that daddy ball hat hanging on my head. And Coach Farron took the team and ran with it. And so it was nice to have Carly there, but it wasn't. I'd rather not call the shots while she was there. So it was good, great having her. And she went on to play for Slippery Rock for 4 years, and she's in the record books there, so very proud of her.
I think there's a lot of people that would respect that move that you made, myself included. The one question I've always wanted to ask you, and forgive me if I've already had, what was it like watching your daughter walk across that track and being accepted into the South Range Hall of Fame? Had to be a proud moment for you.
Oh, yeah, I tell you what, it's just like one of those things where when she started out in softball as a 7-year-old, and to get to the Hall of Fame at South Range, she wanted to be a pitcher when she was 9, and balls were flying all over the place. I mean, it was like, oh my God, what am I doing? I mean, why am I doing this to myself? And, resilience. And next thing you know, she's one of the most dominating pitchers in South Range history. And just look at the leaderboard at the school. It speaks for itself. And I don't want this to constitute bragging for my daughter, because I'm not. In fact, I was probably harder on her than I was on anybody. But it was her hard work that actually, gave her that role as one of the leading pitchers that not only came out of South Range, but out of the county.
Jeff, you have some epic trips down to Myrtle Beach while trying to keep it clean. Is there any specific memories that you can share with everybody here?
It's one of those deals where we always play a very competitive schedule down there. Yeah. And the tournament director always asks us, how good are you going to be? And I always tell her, we're going to be the best. And so we schedule the hardest teams we can on purpose, and our girls always perform. It's amazing the level of play that they have on the field down in Myrtle Beach, and it's not much different when they come up here, but it's just different down there. And the memories of them playing hard. But one of my most favorable memories is not on the softball field, but it's on the beach when Farron and I play spike ball with 2 other people, and to watch Donnie do his fake moves is priceless.
I love it. I love it. I will have to have him on next time on a three-way call to make sure we can get some more
You
stories
got
out.
to have him playing spike ball. It's honestly, it's priceless. It's great.
Well, if we can make it happen, maybe we'll do a YSN live down in Myrtle Beach next year when we
Absolutely.
go. A spike ball edition. So,
Yeah,
Coach
he always
DeRose,
said he beat me on the golf course too. So
well,
he beat me one time, and everybody in the world knew about it.
I love it. I love it. Looking forward to hopefully it's a little bit of season this year. And
Yeah.
as always, looking forward to hanging out with you more and spending time with the South Range family. Thanks so much for your time, and look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
You
Stay
too, buddy.
safe.
You too.
You too.